cake method involves blending the dry ingredients and then slowly incorporating the liquids in 2 stages. Adding the liquid gradually ensures a tender cake because the gluten development is more limited and controlled. Because of this, the cake doesn't rise as high, but on the other hand, the cake will be much more tender. Devil's Food Cake is a rich, dense chocolate cake and a popular example of this method. To begin making the cake, before doing anything else, preheat the oven to 350 degrees. Then start by sifting the dry ingredients and adding them into the bowl of a mixer with a paddle attachment. Next, add the fat in the first portion of milk and mix at a low speed for 7 to 8 minutes. Be sure to stop the machine periodically to scrape down the bowl and the paddle to be sure it's all mixing uniformly. At the end of the 8 minutes, we're going to stop, scrape it down, and you'll notice that the consistency of the mixture is a lot lighter in color and in texture. Scrape down the bowl. Once the first wet ingredients are incorporated in a separate bowl, combine the remaining milk, the vanilla, and the lightly beaten eggs. After combining the liquids, they will be added to the mixer in 3 stages with the machine running on low. Be sure to stop the mixture throughout this process and continue to scrape down the bowl and the paddle. Once all the liquid is incorporated, continue to mix on low for an additional 5 minutes. Allow that mixture to incorporate, then we'll stop, scrape, and add a little more. The mixture will go from being a thicker paste and get looser and looser progressively. Make sure you get any thick batter that's stuck on the paddle scraped down really well at this point. Once it looks smooth, then we'll finish mixing for the last 5 minutes. When all the mixing is completed, the batter should be pourable and smooth. Now that the batter is ready, prepare the cake pans with spray and paper. Then place the first pan on a scale, press the tare button to reset, and scale to 0 with the pan on top. Now we have 2 ways that we can line the pan with paper. You can either put the pan upside down with your piece of paper, trace out a circle and cut it with your scissors, or another quick, easy way to do it, crease your paper, make it into something like a triangle, put the point at the center, and then cut away your excess. Make sure it fits the bottom without going up the sides of the pan. Then we'll put in some spray to make sure it stays in place on the bottom. Spray the side walls lightly. Place the paper in and then flatten it out, so make sure there's no air bubbles in the bottom. Before we add the batter to the pan, make sure you give it one last scrape down, make sure it's nice and homogeneous. Next, add the batter to the pan. If using multiple pans, use a scale to weigh the layers. When all the batter is portioned into the pans, give each pan several sharp raps on the bench to free any large trapped air bubbles. After slamming the pans to release the air, place the pans in the oven and bake until a cake tester or toothpick inserted in the center comes out clean, which could take roughly 30 minutes. When the cakes are done, remove them from the oven and allow the layers to cool for 10 to 15 minutes in the pan. After cooling, turn the cakes out onto racks while they're still slightly warm. Doing this prematurely while they're still hot might cause them to break. The 2-stage and creaming methods make up the baseline for professional cake making. Compared to cakes made from the creaming method, the 2-stage cake technique yields a finer crumb. With its luxurious chocolate flavor and tender crumb, Devil's Food Cake is a great 2-stage cake to practice and perfect.